Let's take a look now at a couple of very different throws. This one here is known as the fan open, and this one here I'm going to refer to as a distance, or the more common name is an umbrella open or a pancake open. The word throw has evolved into a generic term to describe any type of open now, so it's almost impossible to tell what type of open a person is specifically talking about, especially if you're new to this game and they don't name the type. But we seem to be stuck with the term though, so this is why we need to clarify these two types. I even use the term frilly now, and because it's so widespread in its acceptance. In terms of skill development, these two types are miles apart. This one here, for example, requires very low skill, as opposed to this one that requires very high skill. This is about throwing a cast net to achieve distance, as opposed to fanning the net open to get it to open just in front of you. So this would be for typically close-in work. This one here, of course, would be used for distance, plus one other key thing, and that would be low visibility. And I'll talk about that in a tad. Achieving distance with a full open requires knowledge and plenty of practice, as opposed to the fan open that is very simple to learn and requires very little skill. It's almost effortless. So this here is simple to learn. And it's very little effort. As opposed to this one that requires plenty of practice. And the effort is high, especially if you're trying to make a throw, say, with a 12-foot net, and you want to get out to, say, 30 feet to the horn from where you're standing. Let's take a quick look at the fan open to clearly distinguish it again from the pancake type open. Notice the position of the arms on the gal in this picture. This is her terminal position when the net's released. All it takes from the loaded position in front of you is to just twist around into the wind-up position while keeping the arms level with the ground, of course, then coming back around to the front, spreading your arms open like a fan. See how her arms are at a 45-degree angle? This is your clue to the type of throw. Now, had she extended her arms out to here, she would have achieved the same result, even with any angle in between here. But 45 degree is probably the optimum point and minimal type of open that you're looking for. It's the spreading of the arms that opens the net, as opposed to throwing the net for distance, where the weight of the leads is used to open the net, plus force. Okay, so it's the, right here, we could say it's the spreading of the arms for an open. And here, it's the weight of the leads plus force that I'll talk quite a bit about in the next segment, plus, of course, technique. Infomercial instruction videos often use the simple fan throw to make it look easy to throw their nets, of course, and not focus on what really counts, like selection of materials, workmanship, refund policy, and price. Each of these opens are valuable and has its own application. The fan open would find wide application off a berm like the gal in this picture here, a dock or a boat. So you would find this off a berm, a dock, or a boat. And of course that's all close-in work. It's usually not used from, say, a bridge or other relatively high place because the net will open too soon and start closing before it hits the water, and that's something you want to avoid because you're losing perimeter on the net and of course square footage that could work for you. So you would not use off a high elevation. You could use this type of throw almost anywhere, but it has a very distinct advantage over the fan open on high elevations. Almost any size or type of net can be fanned open. Now separately, notice something else in this photo, the bottom view of the net. In here. This is what the fish sees and triggers an escape. So if you're wading in shallow or clear water and the fish are skittish and they keep moving away from you every time you take a step and they're at a distance, you want to give them the least amount of time to see the net coming at them and escape its perimeter. So you would probably never use a fan open for this, but a strike as flat and as low as possible all the way out to the target. In other words, you want a pancake type open. So you could see with this fella here who really knows what to do with a net. Look how low his throw is. And if he's out to the target, the only thing he's got showing is the leading edge of this net. And by the time the fish see this net, they're going to be in the fryer. For any type of open, you want to practice on a level grass field if you can. Or you want to be in, I would say, shallow water. Shallow water with a sandy bottom would be ideal. You know, you never want to throw your net or give a demonstration or practice on a solid surface such as asphalt, concrete, or gravel, etc., because the twine that's holding the net along the lead line will get pounded against the hard surface and weaken your net. My approach to teaching cast net throwing is from an understanding of the technical aspects, as opposed to a how-to video. Many videos already exist in an attempt to teach you visually, so this is another option for you with the help of some simple physics and math. So I could write in here then, it's an understanding of the technical aspects. And there'll be some physics and math, both simple. I'll translate the theory into throwing techniques so you don't have to rely on a random set of suggestions or copying someone else to optimize your throws as you progress to the heavier and their larger nets. So our focus then is going to be on throwing techniques. Other than commercial fishermen, heavier and larger nets are typically used by guides, pleasure fishermen, meat hunters, and people with out of control egos that like to throw for show. Throw for show. You know the kind I mean. These videos pick up from where you know how to load a net. My encouragement in this area is twofold. First, for hygienic reasons, Adopt a method where no part of the net or lead line is held in your mouth. You never know what you're picking up off the bottom. Second, adopt a loading method that is simple and fast. Before advancing to a heavier and or larger net, you should be competent at the following. Let me draw a cast netter here. And let's put them in some blue water and give them a net. Here's a horn. Here's a hand line. You should be able to quickly load an 8-pound, 8-foot net. If you own something else, that's perfectly fine. Please work with that. You should be able to throw it consistently with a full pancake open. So you want a pancake open here, and you want it flat, and you want it parallel to the grass or the water. You should be able to throw it for 3 to 5 times consecutively. What we're looking for here is consistency in your technique. Okay, the ones that don't count are these. This is known as a kidney open. This doesn't count. A cone open, which is like so, where the net puffs up in the center like so and doesn't fully open. That one doesn't count, and neither does the fan open count in these 3 to 5. You should be able to do this now. Greater than or equal to 20 feet from the horn, measured back to where you're standing, like so. And you should be able to throw it accurately. And my definition of accuracy here is, if this is a top view of the net and this is your horn, and this is your target, which could be a frisbee or a tennis ball or anything else on the grass that's quite visible, you should be within 2 feet of that target. Now, if you can't meet this requirement, please continue on with the series. It can help you develop a combination of techniques that works best for you, rather than copying someone else, which I don't encourage. You know, it's unreasonable to expect a 5-foot 3-inch, 120-pound ballet dancer or a man in his 70s, like me, to use the same techniques as, say, a 6'5", 225 quarterback to throw a 12-foot net. Keep in mind that we all have different physical attributes and skill levels that will produce a unique sweet spot of techniques for each of us. So all of these 3 here will have a unique sweet spot of techniques that are going to be different for each of us. They're all going to be unique. Now, the way to develop these is through short, by that I mean 3 to 5 throws. You don't want to overtrain. Regularly. By that I mean daily, if you can possibly do it. And that kind of practice is far, far superior than trying to do it on a weekend or, say, in a couple-hour session. That just doesn't work well.